Hello crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm here with a card set featuring some products from Tupelo Designs for Tuesdays with Tupelo. I am starting here with this Nook Designs Fanciful Floral set because I'm going to be using some Gilding Flakes, and these work really well with stamps that have a lot of solid area, but they can also work well with stamps with even fine detail, as you'll see that I'm able to use it for my sentiment as well. I've picked out a number of the stamps and placed them on clear blocks ahead of time so they're ready to go. I picked up the Cosmic Shimmer Gilding Flakes and glue, and as you can see there, the glue has a attached cap to keep it sealed once you open it. You do have to cut the top off to open it. And you can squirt out a little bit of glue onto some wax paper or even straight onto your craft mat, but I wanted to make it a little bit easier to clean up. And then you want to dab the glue onto your stamp. I'm using a cheap makeup sponge from the dollar store, but whatever you have works. However, you're going to want to make sure that you apply the glue in a dabbing motion to your stamp rather than ever putting the glue right on the stamp. You're also going to want it to be relatively thin, because if you get too much glue on there, you can get glue in between the lines of the stamp and then you won't get a crisp impression. So it needs to be a pretty fine covering of the stamp. However, if you don't get enough glue on, you can rip up the paper. So there's a little bit of a fine line, but honestly, this was my first time ever using the product. I barely read any instructions and I didn't have a problem. So it's not difficult to use, but just as a general tip, you want a fine layer of glue, but not so little that it would actually stick to your paper. Now, this is a special kind of glue because when it dries, it's going to remain tacky. It's not going to dry like say multimedia matte, for example. This is going to remain tacky until you put something like glitter or gilding flakes on top of it so that they will be able to adhere onto there. So definitely want to, if you're picking up these gilding flakes, to pick up the glue that goes with it. You're going to need one other tool, which I'll mention a little bit later. So now I have my large jar of gilding flakes, and I dumped a whole bunch out. And that might seem kind of scary, like, oh my gosh, look how much you're using, and the gilding flakes are a little pricier, but you actually use so little for each project that that container of gilding flakes is going to last you a very, very, very long time. And what I like about this particular brand is I've seen other people use gilding flakes in the past, and they don't come in containers like this, or the containers they come in are so small that you aren't able to get the gilding flakes back in. So you see there, I'm tapping off all those extra gilding flakes, and I'm going to filter them back into the bottle. And that's why I used a piece of typing paper under my work surface area here. And I wanted to make sure that I'd be able to clean up that mess and save as much of the gilding flakes as possible. So now that I have sort of rubbed it with my finger and got off a good portion of the gilding flakes, it's time to come in and get the rest of the detail out. So I have this Rub It, Scrub It tool from Ranger, and it is meant to help you clean your stamps, but it's perfect for rubbing off the excess gilding flakes. And so there is another option in the Tupelo Designs store that's meant specifically to work with gilding flakes, but either one, the Rub It Scrub It tool is a great price, and you'll be able to cut up plenty of it. You'll be able to have some left over for cleaning your stamps, or you'll be able to have several of these little tools. I just cut the foam bits into some pieces. So now I'm going to continue on with gilding so I can review some of the tips and you can see again what it looks like. You may notice that the focus on my camera is a little bit interesting right now. This is a brand new to me camera, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to show you guys some detail of what I'm doing without the focus jumping everywhere. On my old camera, there was definitely a lot of issues with it focusing in and out and making people sick a little bit. So I'm trying to resolve that issue. And so just bear with me if the focus is a little bit funny for a while. So what I'm doing here is just, again, applying the gilding flakes. Gilding flakes make a mess. They just do. And not in a way that you can't easily clean it up, but they are going to get all over the place. You don't want to have like a fan on or a breeze blowing by because they're very light and they will blow about. And you'd rather, make sure that you can keep them contained so you can get them back in the container. So do keep that in mind. However, they're not too difficult to work with, and there's going to be some that you can't get back into the container, and that's fine. Especially the little fine bits that you get after rubbing with the Rub It Scrub It tool. My suggestion is to use a Swiffer-like cloth, like one of those dusting cloths, because with those dusting cloths, you're able to pick up all those little fine bits. And so between filtering it back into the bottle and wiping my area with the Swiffer duster cloth, it was pretty easy cleanup. So again, I'm just applying a bunch of the Gilding Flakes down onto my paper, and then first I'm rubbing with my finger, and then I'll go in with the Rub It Scrub It tool. You don't want something too abrasive, because if you rub too hard, you can actually pull the Gilding Flakes back up. And in the Tupelo Designs store, something that I didn't realize I could have picked up, there is a special like foam tool that you can use at the end. So after you use Rub It Scrub It, you can use this, I think it's from Indigo Blue, this foam tool that will help give a little bit extra shine to your Gilding Flakes. So you might want to check that out. And you can also see there's a lot of different beautiful colors of Gilding Flakes at Tupelo. I think this selection is amazing, and I think that I'm going to be getting some more colors because this is such a beautiful design. Some people might think, oh, it's very similar to heat embossing, like if you embossed with gold. And there are some comparisons, but this is completely flat. There's no dimension added with this, and so it just gives a really different look. I feel like if you sent somebody a card with the Gilding Flakes, particularly if they weren't a crafter, they would just be amazed and they wouldn't even realize how you did it. And so once you have rubbed it with the Rub It Scrub It tool and you have completely got off all the Gilding Flakes, and you can see it deals with really fine detail sentiments, which I think is amazing. I didn't know if it would do that, but you definitely can. What I suggest doing is taking just a large soft brush and just sweeping everything off. So that way all those little Gilding Flakes. You could also try the Swiffer cloth, like just wipe your card with the Swiffer cloth to get all of those little tiny flakes off. Then I cut everything with the stitched border rectangle dies from Lawn Fawn, and that just gave a little bit of a finishing edge to this nice little card set here. And you see that I have labeled my little piece of foam that I cut off that large sheet with the name of the Gilding Flakes that I use, because I'm not sure how they would do with like cross-contaminating. Like if I use like some of the pink Gilding Flakes, those are probably next on my list, from Cosmic Shimmer, how if it would get any gold into my project. So that is it for my card set today. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Gilding Flakes. You can check the video description for a link to Tupelo Designs where you can see all of the wonderful colors that they offer. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in more crafting tutorials, including a weekly feature from Tuesdays with Tupelo, or seeing more from Newton's Nook Designs, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I release at least one crafting video each week. Also in the video description, you can check out some of my social media links to join me over at some other places as well. And thanks for watching. Bye.